You woke up this morning and you ate breakfast. Later, you'll grab lunch. Tonight, you'll sit down for dinner. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. 3 meals. You've done it your whole life and you never once asked why. So let me ask it for you. Why 3? Not 2, not 5, not whenever you're hungry. 3. Neat, evenly spaced, the same for billions of people. It feels like a law of nature, like something your body demands. But here's the truth. Nobody's biology asked for this. No doctor prescribed it. No ancient wisdom handed it down. 3 meals a day isn't natural at all. It's a habit, a surprisingly recent invention. And the story of where it came from involves sailors, factories, and a cereal salesman. Let's go back. Way, way back. Long before anyone counted their meals. Picture your ancestors, tens of thousands of years ago, hunter-gatherers. And here's the thing about their eating schedule. There wasn't one. At a 23,000-year-old site by the Sea of Galilee, we've found their old campfires surrounded by scraps of over 100 kinds of seeds and nuts, plus bones from fish and birds. A varied menu, but eaten whenever. Because for them, eating wasn't a routine, it was a result. You ate when the hunt worked out. You ate when you found the berries. Some days, a feast. Other days, nothing at all. The idea of stopping at noon for lunch would have made 0 sense. Lunch? The animal doesn't care what time it is. Then farming came along about 12,000 years ago, and everything shifted. Food stayed put, so people stayed put. Villages formed. Meals got bigger and more shared. But even now, still no 3 meals. What people ate and when was a total free-for-all depending on where they lived. Take the ancient Egyptians. 2 meals. A little bread and beer in the morning, a bigger dinner at night. The Greeks had a few small meals, but nobody was strict about it. And then there's the Romans. And the Romans are wonderfully weird here. You'd think the Romans, who organized basically everything, would have a rigid meal schedule. Nope. The Romans thought eating more than once a day was kind of gross. They were obsessed with digestion, and they saw multiple meals as pure gluttony. Their move? 1 big meal around midday. That's it. 1 meal a day, and they felt smug about it. And that 1 meal habit stuck around in Europe for centuries. So where do 3 meals actually come from? Here's what makes this so interesting. They didn't come from your body at all. They came from the clock. Our first stop is the sea. Way back in the 1500s, the British Navy had a problem to solve. You've got a ship full of sailors doing brutal physical work, and you need to feed them in an organized way. So the Navy built a routine. A biscuit breakfast, a main meal at midday, a lighter supper at night. 3 meals, not because it was healthy, but because a ship runs on a schedule, and hungry sailors need feeding at set times. But that was just sailors. The thing that forced 3 meals onto everyone was the biggest change in human history since farming. The Industrial Revolution. Picture it. Around 1760, and for the next century, people pour off the farms and into the factories. And a farm and a factory run on completely different clocks. On a farm, you eat loosely, with the sun and the seasons. But a factory? A factory has a whistle. You clock in at a fixed time, you clock out at a fixed time, and you get 1 break in the middle. And suddenly, look what fits perfectly. A meal before your shift, a meal on your break, a meal after you clock out. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. 3 meals a day wasn't a discovery about the human body. It was a solution to the factory schedule. Think about that. The rhythm of your day, the reason you eat when you eat. It was shaped by a machine's timetable. And each meal has its own strange backstory. Take breakfast. The word literally means break the fast, ending the night's fast. But for a long time in Europe, eating in the morning was frowned upon. In medieval times, you weren't supposed to eat before morning church, so breakfast was slow to catch on. But try telling a factory worker to skip food before a 12-hour shift. That's not discipline, that's a fainting hazard. So breakfast became essential. It had to. Dinner moved too. For most of history, the big meal was at midday, when the sunlight was strongest. Because who wants to cook in the dark? But once factories and better lighting kept people busy into the evening, the main meal slid to the end of the day. Dinner after work became the anchor. And then the final piece, and it's the pettiest one. In the early 1900s, a cereal salesman named John Harvey Kellogg helped turn breakfast into a daily law. He'd invented cornflakes, and through big marketing campaigns in the 1920s and 30s, that famous line spread everywhere. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Now here's the punchline. That wasn't really science. It was advertising. Cereal companies needed you eating breakfast every single morning to sell cereal, so they told you that you had to. And it worked so well, you still believe it. So, does your body even want 3 meals? Here's the honest twist. Your body doesn't care much about the number. It cares about the timing. You've got an internal clock, and it's brilliant at handling food in the morning and daytime, when it's primed to turn it into energy. Eat that same meal late at night, and your body handles it worse. So whether it's 2 meals, 3, or 4, matters far less than eating most of your food while the sun's up. On that, your ancient biology and your modern schedule actually agree. So here's the full picture. For almost all of human history, we ate whenever food showed up. Farming let us settle, but the schedule stayed loose. Egyptians ate twice. Romans ate once, proudly. Then the Navy needed to feed sailors on a routine. Factories chained everyone to a clock, medieval religion shaped breakfast, and a cereal tycoon sold it back to us as health. 3 meals a day isn't written into your body. It's written into your work schedule. So tonight, when you sit down for dinner, like billions of people at roughly the same time without ever deciding to, just remember, you're not obeying your biology. You're following a routine invented by sailors, factories, and a man who really wanted to sell you cornflakes. And now you know why. Bon appétit!